on GoSuffolkRams.com. From Boston, Massachusetts, welcome to Suffolk Sounds, the official show for Suffolk University Athletics.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into the first episode of the 2021-2022 calendar year for Suffolk Athletics. Welcome into the Suffolk Sounds podcast. I'm your host, Nick Perenick. Along with me this time is my co-host, Jarod Minassian, who is with me. Jarod, it's great to have you on. Great to have someone else on this podcast with me, being able to co-host it with me. Want to tell the people a little bit about yourself before this year starts?
Yeah, thanks for having me first off. Second off, I'm really excited to be a part of the Suffolk family. I'm really excited to be in Suffolk Athletics, working in the city. So just a little bit about me. I just finished my undergrad in New Hampshire, born and raised in New Hampshire. So I just finished at UNH and got my degree in sports studies. And I also worked in the athletic department there for all 4 years, working in communications, doing similar stuff like this there, working all sorts of sporting events there. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be a part of the Division III lifestyle now. It's a lot different than Division I, but a lot of the same stuff still applies. And, I'm just excited to be able to help and promote these student athletes here that really work hard, especially with everything that's going on in the country and the world right now. So yeah, I'm just excited to be here.
Well, it's great to have you aboard once again. You mentioned, the differences between Division I and Division III, and especially a school like UNH with such a big athletics department. What are some of the differences that you've already experienced in your short time here at Suffolk, a disparity of sports and what's offered and whatnot?
Yeah, I mean, the size of the athletic department is definitely a little bit different. The ins and outs of it are very similar, the goings on. Everything we put out was really similar, but they definitely had a little bit of a different sports, and they had gymnastics, field hockey, football, which was a big thing there. So it's a little bit different coming here. It seems like the Suffolk community and athletic department is a little bit more tight knit since it is a little bit smaller, which I definitely prefer because it's nice to see everybody, say hi to everybody, know everybody. And when you're walking around a big athletic department, you might walk by someone that you don't really know and that you've probably never seen before. But I just like the culture here. It is a little bit different, but it's definitely a welcome change.
So in your, short 2 weeks here so far at Suffolk, you've seen a lot of sporting action as we did host events right before Labor Day into Labor Day weekend and beyond. So you've already seen some soccer. We've seen some cross country, some volleyball. So a lot of action. You've been on the sidelines for some practices, games, you name it. You've kind of been there so far. So you're kind of thrown right into it. What have you liked so far from your experience, and what are you looking forward to as the semester rolls on?
Yeah, it's honestly been awesome to see the student athletes get out there and finally have the chance to participate in some real live sporting events. Even the practices, you can really see the effort because people are really excited to finally be back out there on the field. And the games have been awesome. It's been really cool to see and feel the atmosphere of a Suffolk sporting event, especially the volleyball game the other night. It was honestly, we weren't there for very long, but it was a great experience to see fans in the stands again. And I'm really looking forward to seeing a little bit more of the action, especially when hockey season rolls around, basketball season rolls around. And, we got some more sporting events coming up. Women's tennis and golf is starting up soon. So that'll be really exciting to see.
Yeah, and so far, you mentioned you're excited for sports in the future and the sports that are rolling out this week in tennis and golf, but we've already seen some great play out of our student athletes that have taken the pitch or taken the court so far, and that those being, Ram of the Week, Lily Christian from women's soccer. And we've also, in our first year, officially now competing in the CCC with no restrictions. We've also had 2 athletes of the week in the CCC, those being Nigel Leo for men's soccer and Matthias Cheeky-Fair from men's cross country. So we've seen some impressive play individually from these guys. What have you thought so far about that?
Yeah, it's honestly been a great introduction into the CCC for these guys. Being on the sideline for the men's and women's soccer games, I saw Lily Christian score those 2 goals, and it was electric, honestly, being there and with all the fans cheering in the crowd each time, and just seeing the players out there really competing with their full hearts into the game. And Nigel Leo put out some impressive stuff on the soccer pitch the other night. And putting those 2 goals into the back of the net were big catalysts behind a couple of the wins this weekend for Suffolk men's soccer. So And then Matthias is obviously just another breed of runner. So he's going to be claiming those CCC athletes of the week during the season. I expect a couple more out of him.
No doubt at all. He's been really solid so far in my time that I've been here, and I'm excited to see what he can do. And now we have this podcast will come out Monday, but this past weekend here, the weekend of the 10th, 11th, 12th will be a huge weekend for our athletes, as you mentioned. More sports rolling out over the weekend. What are you excited about? What are you looking forward to for this weekend, and then leading up to next weekend's Resident Rams Day?
Yeah, I'm honestly just excited to see how this weekend goes. I know women's volleyball is on the road against some really good competition this weekend in Springfield and Skidmore, and then they play Union the next day. So hopefully we can come out with some wins against some really tough competition. And then men's soccer is also going on the road, not very far down the road, obviously, because they'll be playing at MIT, but they're a very good opponent, and that'll be a great matchup for the men. I'm also excited to see women's soccer play Leslie, which will be a very fun matchup to watch, I'm sure, especially because we'll be there in person watching some great action. And then as we head into the next week, Resident Rams Day will be an awesome experience for not only the new students, the upperclassmen and graduate students, but everyone involved. It'll be great to see some real students in the stands to come out and support their Rams. There's going to be giveaways, special promotions. So I know that'll be a fun time, especially with some good matches set for that day with women's soccer, women's volleyball, and men's soccer all playing. So there'll be a full slate of action for all the students to come out and see, which will be awesome.
It's a great initiative to get the to get the students, the residential students back involved, especially after a year off. You can come to, either Ridgeway or to East Boston Memorial Park and be able to catch some action that day and come away with some prizes. And who doesn't love a free t-shirt? I remember when I was in undergrad, I would go to anywhere for a free t-shirt, no matter what the event was. I love my free t-shirts. I have a drawer full of them. So come on out that day. It should be fun. We're looking forward to a lot of action up over this upcoming week. And Jarod, this is episode 28 of the Suffolk Sounds podcast. And we've seen a lot of Rams on here, a lot of coaches. I'm looking forward to having you and I switch off. So I just wanted to give the listeners, a sense of this semester. And I just want to let them know that, we'll be, on co-hosting a couple of these episodes, but for the most part, we'll be alternating weeks.
Yes, that'll be very exciting. I'm excited to get to know some more of the student athletes, some more of the coaches, definitely get a more in-depth feel of the athletic department, especially just being here for 2 weeks now. I'm really excited to just dive deeper into the student athlete population and just learn more about why they came here, their upbringings and what makes them so happy to be a Suffolk Ram.
Well, fans, make sure to stay tuned for that, Ram Nation. You can always follow us on social media at Go Suffolk Rams. We're on Facebook as well at Suffolk Athletics, and you can follow us on YouTube as well. That's where this is streamed, also Spotify and Apple Music. So make sure to get us on there as well. Thanks so much for listening to episode 28 of the Suffolk Sounds podcast. For Jarod, I'm Nick, and we'll see you real soon.
This has been Suffolk Sounds. Don't forget to subscribe, like, rate, and review however you listen to your podcast.